Tons of new announcements for you today as Tokyo Game Show explodes onto the scene. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Even Nintendo, who was supposed to be completely not a part of this, even they had to get in a little bit on the action. But we've got lots of new Switch games and Switch updates, so it's a jam-packed show. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're doing fantastic. The blue is blueing, and Nintendo is chomping. Let's start there because I think it's super fun. Lego and Nintendo have announced their next special partnership, a Piranha Plant. A large 9-inch Piranha Plant that's releasing on November the 6th. 540 pieces, a coin action, 2 coin action, and a chomping mouth. I think I have to get this. It's part of like their Lego like fancy series where they take like classic IP and then make them in the rectangular boxes. They all look the same and it's like fancy, so it's a fancy collection. I like this a lot, and I don't know, I think Piranha Plant being Legoified is freaking sweet. But I know that's not game related, and so let's dive into the Tokyo Game Show game announcements. Now, we had a bunch of different conferences today, from Xbox to Capcom, showcasing new games that they're announcing at the Japanese version of E3. The biggest one is probably the one that wasn't there, and so I want to start with this, and I find it fascinating. I'm going to dig a little deeper into this, probably for a separate video, but it's very weird. As some of you might remember, Capcom announced a while back to their investors and stockholders that there's a major Capcom release happening by March 2024 that will sell multi-millions of copies. That game is still not announced even after today's Tokyo Game Show presentation. Capcom did not announce any new titles, leaving this mysterious multi-million seller to somehow be announced and released in the next 5.5 months. Very, very suspicious. They did announce that the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter will take place in March 2024. But more importantly, what they announced for today is that Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy is releasing on January 25th, kicking the year off with something super fun. Now, I have far less experience with Apollo than I do with Phoenix, so I'm thinking this is one that I might want to dive into. It's comprising 3 different Apollo Justice games onto Nintendo Switch in the first month of 2024, which is awesome because it helps get the year going right away, and I think it's a nice spot for a title that could be overlooked by bigger releases. Nonetheless, I don't think this is one that you should skip. It's got all sorts of awesome legal action, and it would do my guy, Saul Goodman, proud. One more release date update for you. October 12th is when Company of Heroes Collection is dropping on Nintendo Switch. You may have missed this announcement as it sort of happened very under the radar. A few weeks back, they said, hey, it's coming later this year. Now it's out October 12th. It's comprising the original Company of Heroes, which at this point is a pretty old game, and its 2 major expansions in a new version for Nintendo Switch, bringing RTS action to the platform, which I think is cool. There aren't a ton of RTSs of quality on Nintendo Switch. Company of Heroes, the original, was quite the game. It was like all the fervor around magazines and podcasts. When it dropped, I remember cutting my grass, mowing my lawn, and listening to podcasts about Co. That's how old I am. But this old game is coming back in just a couple of weeks. Really quick turnaround for that one, which is pretty nifty. Speaking of quick turnarounds, Bandai Namco is popping in a new Switch game in 2 weeks. They announced that the Dark Pictures anthology Little Hope is coming to Nintendo Switch on October 5th. Now, this is a continuation because they did put Man of Medan, the first of the Dark Pictures anthology, on Switch kind of recently. And there's 2 more installments of the anthology on other platforms, so it seems like we're getting all of them eventually on Nintendo Switch. This is a horror game with lots of story choices and kind of campy characters. None of these are as good as the original, which was Until Dawn, which I think is fantastic. But if you're looking for something kind of like kitschy and fun and Halloween-y, they are releasing it at a good time. I played this one. It was kind of messy. I don't know that I loved it, but I did sort of like the ending. It was interesting. It's very evil. But October 5th is when this is releasing. Another quick turnaround. This game will be out from Bandai Namco in just about 2 weeks. This one might be my favorite of the bunch. Althea, the Wrath of a Fury. Very strange name, but it was announced during Xbox's Tokyo Game Show press conference. But it's also coming to Switch. And what's really cool here is this is a dungeon-focused adventure with tons of Zelda-like puzzles. The art style I'm gonna leave that one aside for now, but I love the look of the puzzles. There's all sorts of cool and quirky looking puzzles that are reminiscent of more traditional Zelda type games. And I do think there is a big void in the industry for someone to come in and do Zelda the way Zelda used to be done very successfully, and they'll find great sales. I really believe it. If you look at something like Darksiders, that was originally so praised for doing Zelda but mature, well, now you just have to do Zelda but Zelda, because Zelda doesn't do Zelda like Zelda. Yes, I know there were like some temples this time around, but they definitely do not have the puzzle solving and sort of Rube Goldberg escape room, escape box themings and ideas and concepts and puzzling that the Zeldas of yesteryear used to have. So when I see Althea, the Wrath of a Fury, having all sorts of Zelda-themed things, it gets very interesting. It looks like you've got sort of like a co-op partner kind of going around, environmental puzzles, some very different interesting puzzles, and then also combat as well. We'll have to wait and see how this one controls and how that combat really feels. I feel like if the combat is poor, then maybe the puzzles can't overcome it, but if the combat's even decent, this is one to watch out for. It's cool that it's coming both to Xbox and to Switch. It'll be out in 2024. No release date as of yet, but again, it's like Zelda. If you just think of this girl with the red hair, a boy with blonde hair, and her red cape as a green tunic, then we're basically playing something that we would have gotten a decade ago from Nintendo, since they refused to give us Twilight Princess or Wind Waker on Switch. This could be the next best thing. It don't stop there though, because Falcom announced that The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak is coming to the West and Nintendo Switch in summer 2024. This game was originally released in Japan in 2021, but it is yet to see a Western localization. If you are a fan of the RPG series, The Legend of Heroes, well, you've got a new game to look forward to in the summer. Don't have much more to say on that except check the trailer, because I've never played any of these games, but I do know it's a pretty cool announcement from NIS America, and that they are bringing both English and Japanese audio within the English version, localizing it, which is very, very nice. I want to touch back on that Capcom non-announcement for a second, because where do they announce this game? Capcom clearly has a big title that is waiting in the wings. Where do they announce this game? Can they announce it in December at the Game Awards and have it pop in March? Possibility. Can they announce it at a Nintendo Direct and have it release in March? No. February to March, way too close if we're to assume the traditional February Direct. Can they announce it at any other event? Well, there aren't really any events in November, December, January, or February. Where does this game from Capcom that could be on Switch, theoretically, considering Capcom's one of their most recent major releases, Monster Hunter Rise, started off as a Switch-timed exclusive? Resident Evil has had a bunch of games recently, but it's odd that the Monster Hunter anniversary times up perfectly with March 2024 when they say this game will be released by. Is there some sort of mysterious happening that we do not know about yet that would serve as the perfect vehicle to announce and reveal a major Capcom title that may or may not be tied to the Monster Hunter 20th anniversary that definitely needs to release within the next 5.5 months? I'll let you ponder that for a minute. But for now, let me know what you think of today's TGS announcements. I know nothing huge and major, but it is cool to see that we got like 5 or 6 new things for Switch, and I'm sure there'll be more throughout the week, so I'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love y'all lots. SwitchForce out.